to your astrological transit forecast. This is the Peace Dealer, and I hope you gain the utmost of quality from this report. Thank you also for your patience. I'm glad to see this extraordinary Aquarius and Pisces stellium in your chart. Definitely super rare. One that I haven't seen in ever, really, especially at 62. My mother was born in 62, so I'm slightly familiar a bit with some of the outer planets, hence like Saturn being in Aquarius. Congratulations for recently completing your Saturn return. Neptune in Scorpio has always been a fascinating aspect to me at that. And of course, Uranus and Leo and Pluto in Virgo. We do see Uranus does enter Virgo later on in the 60s. But to see Uranus connected to your North Node is very, very pivotal, given that it does rule where your South Node is. So yeah, with that being said, if we look at the next 6 months ahead, we do know that we are coming out of Cancer season, and in the next 6 months, we will be in, of course, Capricorn season. So relative to this final integration, it definitely goes a long way with preparing to bring, of course, Pluto finally out of your 7th house. In fact, Pluto has slowly but surely been retrograding recently, not only out of your 7th, but it has been dancing around your DC. At present, it's 27 degrees. It looks like it may go direct at 26. Of course, during Libra season, where Saturn will also go direct as well. So a lot of this integration is taking place to take, of course, the focal point of a lot of now the first 4 houses of your chart and integrate it towards the relationship houses. In that, especially with the upcoming transits, as we'll talk to through Leo, Virgo, and Libra, this is geared towards preparing you accordingly to once and for all not only complete Pluto's transit through your 7th, which is effectively awakening the incredible power of integrity you hold space for with other people, thus highlighting you to how, a lot of Cancer risings have been seeing how evil people are, because the intensity and extremeness of Pluto unveils the unconscious nature of people. And, there's certain things you can't hide. And Pluto has been definitely having you awaken more of this, understanding in your relationships with people. It's also been using you as a vehicle to awaken other people in relationships. It's very intense. And because the 7th house is open enemies, you could have been experiencing this by, seeing this Plutonian possess people and project at you personally, because it enables Cancer risings to be gaslighted, even if indirectly. Regardless, this completing over your 2nd is, since you were born, completing this Pluto 8 degree aspect and moving forward, to which next year it will be in Aquarius and already begin to lightly transit your Saturn. So it won't be until the end of the decade that this begins to touch elements of Aquarius, but we know Aquarius marks your 8th house, even though most of it falls in the 7th. And relative to Saturn's transit that's getting ready to hit your 8th house, this is a bit of a spiritual warfare transit in that you're having to maintain advanced boundaries that facilitate this important sense of not only how powerful you harness this knowledge of self, but I would say also how influentially you're in a position to take the resources with Uranus here of your own value. You have such unconventional golden value as a Cancer rising. You have social royal value here. Your destiny here is to manifest destiny. You're using the resources with the South Node and the 7th of other people's knowledge and collectives that trust you to manifest your own worth, which is very interesting here, because with all this 8th house Aquarius energy, you're very gifted at the knowledge of how to deal with others, of how to network and gain people's support and trust so that they can invest in your creative value, which is very unconventional. You manifest such genius that in its connection with Jupiter, you know how to think outside the box very well and bridge the collective with what communities or social projects or once again value you unconventionally manifest. This could work really well for money. It could work really well for just creative ideas. But because the North Node is here, this is recently unlocked and more tied to what you're meant to establish. So Neptune in between this is key, because the eclipse that we're going to have in November, specifically around like the 13th or the 15th or the 7th, like November 7th, is going to be actually on your Neptune. And we know that over the next 6 months coming into Capricorn season, we are going to see the eclipse in Scorpio season, new moon and full moon, drawing out from your 4th house into the 10th, ruled by the 11th. So the North Node aspect that's been transiting Taurus has been using the resources of your own talents and inner world and home to now manifest a team and community that takes the intangible nature of your inner wisdom and manifests a solid foundation in order for you to come into more career and community success. This is the individual manifestation of your own social circle of friends or acquaintances that promote so much more of this own individual sense of success. And of course, with Taurus, wealth. This is definitely interesting because Jupiter is about 7 degrees. And in another month, end of Cancer season coming into Leo, it's going to be 8 degrees and it's going to go retrograde. We're going to see by, of course, November, this retrograde back into Pisces, close enough to your Venus. Then Sagittarius is going to go direct again. And by 0 degrees Capricorn in your 6th house, this Jupiter will be 0 degrees Aries. And coming back around, all right, by the time we reach May, from January to May, Jupiter will skyrocket through Aries. And this is important because by May, it'll already be in Taurus, getting ready to conclude this eclipse chapter. And the significance of this is your MC of career is in Aries. So congratulations, you're coming into career success. I remember giving a reading with someone who had this and they went through a promotion during this time. Jupiter literally expands your career goals in the MC, which, because this is the MC in Aries, your legacy is to establish your own independence based on your own individuality. So if you had MC in Capricorn, you would be the CEO of Starbucks, a Fortune 500 company, let's say. If Starbucks, even if Starbucks isn't Fortune 500, but like a big company, right? The thing about that is, yeah, you manage a lot more, right? But your identity takes a second seat to the brand. You're not mainly, just you're representing a whole corporation, right? Versus MC and Aries, well, you're the owner of Laurie's coffee shop. And now Laurie's coffee shop is based on you. You are the owner. the branding of this is tied to you. So it doesn't necessarily give you as much power as the cap, but it does give you your own individual power. And you define and decide how far you take your legacy. It's actually one of the most powerful MCs, is just more directly connected to your individuality. Chiron has gone through here, healing the masculine assertion that goes towards, as a Pisces sun and ascended master at that, manifesting this nature of your own value. And so Jupiter this year, but specifically next year, will very quickly evolve the philosophy around how powerfully you exert yourself and take your own being to the next level, because this is going to prepare for you to establish higher levels of authority, but also career success. And if we look at your Pisces stellium, you are a soul healer. You have Chiron on your moon, and you express this through the divinity of your exalted heart. So as an ascended master, you're truly divine. You have the sun and moon here in Pisces, and it's interesting to see this opposite Pluto. It's very rare to see Pluto opposite the sun. Pluto opposite the sun is a dangerous open enemy and outside influence that will always challenge you through doubt based off what you believe. When Pluto's opposite someone's sun and or moon, it's easy for other people to hate them. People are either extremely obsessed with you or they hate you. And despite the mutable messiness, there's not much of an in-between. Classic example of this is Chris Brown or even DJ Academics, who have Pluto and Scorpio opposite their sun in Taurus. They have very loyal fan bases, but at the same time, a large amount of people hate them because of their controversial takes and previous actions. A lot of that is influenced by the extremeness of Pluto that will make everything you perceive now extremely criticized by other people. And it's not always bad. This actually adds so much more intensity to how you yourself can take these metaphysical abstract awarenesses and analyze them with crucial analytical ability to break down to the finest minute detail. Is just the way that this can impact your own self-esteem can sometimes create wounds relative to who you can trust, because you're going to pick up a lot of these nuances more than most other people, in that this gives you a very supernatural sense of extrasensory perception, ESP. That being said, 2022, the first 5 months, Jupiter went through and evolved your 9th house through Pisces, went through the 8th, and then quickly went through this 9th house to set up your rising star year. So this transformed a lot of the boundaries and how much more magically you deal with other people. And this is important because now that we're in Cancer season, we know that through Pisces, we had the Sun, Moon, Neptune, Jupiter aspect so close to your Venus, which unveiled the evolution and dream of this divine aspect of your philosophy that helps you see the unseen relative to your dealings with people. And so a lot of this new philosophy and the dreams regarded around this new way to really believe in the collective by Virgo season will ground for the first time. So it'll be the first time we've completed that cycle since March. And through Gemini that released unconscious habits, this is what will make very real that dream in September. And everything that you have taught, you'll be in a position to, or maybe learned through this higher teaching, because 9th house could be higher education. You'll be able to teach to others in Virgo. A lot of the higher knowledge and divinity you gained since March now will manifest in mastered skills and abilities you can practically share with other people and share receipts through. So Gemini season was a crucial checkpoint that we just finished, because this had you not only release outdated ideas or unconscious habits that now are obsolete because you have evolved since March, your philosophy. We know that the nodes went through Gemini. So this is also coinciding with your high priestess ability as a Cancer rising to communicate directly with angels, to now harness enlightened abilities and techniques in discerning information. This leads to the Virgo analysis of causality by seeing how critically practical most of these insights are, because Gemini and Pisces can make you think it's just in your head. Well, Virgo grounds us into reality. And so this is where now, as a Cancer rising, Cancer is having you fully personify the feeling of yourself relative to everything that's happened 6 months prior. Now that Saturn is retrograding in the 7th, you have upgraded the quality and value of who you're in relationships with, now having you draw advanced boundaries based on who you can trust or not. All of this is having you identify now with how much you've evolved your philosophy to help you see into the unseen. So that square from Aries, Jupiter to the Cancer transits is releasing old feelings about yourself now that you're evolving how you identify yourself, so that you can maintain a much stronger feeling about who you are. All of this is going to translate into Leo season and kick off these powerful fixed squared crosses, because Neptune in Scorpio is going to, through your own strong intuition, unveil a lot more of what's needed to release and unlock within your private life to now ground more physically in communities and with friends, rich, wealthy friends or genius friends you could trust. And this is where a lot of this is going to break through in a much more courageous, bold sense of your value. Hence the square to Taurus in opposition to Aquarius with Saturn will challenge. With Saturn, that's exactly opposite Uranus for you, stabilizing. It's 24 degrees, but stabilizing very powerfully on your Mars, how unconventionally you manifest this creativity. This is going to make you more aware of the knowledge you have of the people who you're dealing with, the collectives you're dealing with, and also the investment channels that take this greater awareness of what you're manifesting. Obviously, with all this 10th house, 11th house Taurus, this is also manifesting the value of your legacy and career. And this is going to put you in a position to come into very unconventional returns. Remember, with Uranus in the second here, the way you make money or value is something that's never been done. It's very unconventional. This can give you very unique, advanced values that you creatively manifest. So with Jupiter, that will be trining this retrograding. It'll give you a boost in being able to manifest this vision of yourself with how creatively you align this with your own destiny path. Although what's this really is setting the stage for is to break you through a lot of these fixed challenges. Hence Saturn in your 7th, squaring Uranus in your 10th, innovating the value of this career direction and your friends relative to how extraordinarily discerning you are, raising the standards of who you relate with and what partnerships you're forming knowledgeably. So Virgo season is what's going to change everything. It's what's going to manifest the value of these, transformations in your dreams with the Neptune and Jupiter and Pisces. It's what's going to make very real a lot of what since March you've been dreaming about or setting in place as a Pisces too, which has gone through soul and spirit evolution. This is going to really create a game changer and make more practical the skills and attitude you have, which will also be able to show receipts, maybe to people who didn't believe certain aspects of what you were wanting to show them. And this is very pivotal because this leads us into Libra season, which will effectively make Pluto direct and Saturn direct as well. And the key to this really does go a long way towards also influencing how powerfully you are in a position to also own up to, how realistically you've been in a position to also connect through this nature of the legacy you have been slowly but surely evolving coming into Jupiter on your MC, and also how you maneuver and navigate through so much of, you know, much of your own perceptions around your value, and how you can make more real the social integration of this. So at this facet of the year, coming into the fall season, this really now takes how much you've evolved yourself and now shows you through other people how much you've grown in the form of your attitude and your private world, that you're bridging all this success coming into. Because what 2022 is setting you up for is the hyper success transit of 2023. 2022 is going to establish the eclipses in your 10th and 11th house. It's going to set up the evolution for your MC and Aries, like setting up blocks. Then once we move forward, 2023 is going to actually actualize all this, move forward with all this. So this is very much so a transition year. And so coming out of Virgo season, where you're going to manifest a change of behavior that will help you harness much of this success, or begin to. This is where, coming into Libra season, we balance a whole lot of post these squares and setting up for the next eclipse. A lot of how you now organize your own attitude socially with others to develop these skills in order to translate how you've evolved your concept of yourself. Jupiter, that's retrograding opposite the Libra transit in October, will show, hey, this is how in my own individual nature I've evolved my philosophy around myself. And so now in October, the way I share my attitude socially will reflect on how I individually evolved my belief around myself, which I will show by expressing socially to others. And this is going to make you aware of how to balance more your attitude relative to this power. It's going to make these planets go direct, and this is going to prepare for Pluto to leave Capricorn out your 7th. So you're going to also square the 7th house Cap, really break through in how much more powerfully influential you are in awakening others in your relationships and noticing any imbalances that need to be rectified. This, of course, will naturally lead us to the eclipse on the first week of November, that will unlock through the South Node your Neptune. It's going to unlock more of your intuition than ever, which connects directly to your Sun in Pisces. So unlike most people with Neptune in Scorpio, you're directly aware of the metaphysical nature of this deep wisdom that you channel, and that helps you square Aquarius discern more of the knowledge relative to others of how to direct this energy, because Saturn stabilizes this Neptunian influence. Otherwise it wouldn't really be the most stable. And this Cancer season that has us completing this grand water trine right now, 16 degrees, is giving you insight into how to feel on all 3 levels, albeit coming out in the 12th, what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening beneath and beyond the veil. So this is going to, by Scorpio season, give you considerable insight on how you will be manifesting more grounded success, and with who. It's unlocking the nature of your own creativity to be a part of a team. You most likely manifest yourself individually. This will now be more relevant next year once Jupiter goes through here and evolves everything you're setting in place. This is going to lead into Sagittarius season that will now have you create a brand new lifestyle now that you've evolved this essence of your divine philosophy, and through Gemini season released unconscious habits. Now that you've changed this facet of your own life, you're able to change other people's lives collectively, applying now what you've mastered in Virgo season that you can teach and express as your skills. You're integrating these skill sets post eclipse into this collective facet of your behavior routine to show the collective how much you've mastered all of this, and apply this towards said collective, which is important because once we step into Capricorn season, boom, boom, bam, this leads us into the final boss battle. The first boss battle series through Cancer season this month is breaking through the courage to be yourself based off of outside enemies who, you know, kind of hold you back. 11th house to your Pisces sun, an attempt to gaslight you. The second boss battle in Libra has you connect with social interactions with friends in your private world who can help you break through, once again, judgment from others. And then this final boss battle in Capricorn season is you fully breaking through this. Post Jupiter going retrograde, it'll now be in Aries, ready to fully blast open and evolve your career. And this final boss battle will break you through any inhibition or pushback from difficulties in relationships to where you fully establish this awakening and control and integrity in your partnerships with other people. And that, in a nutshell, is the next 6 months ahead. There's definitely a lot more to look forward to, but what we really want to look at is Saturn that will get ready to move into Pisces coming into 2023, because this will have effectively mastered all of this aqua energy so that you're able to trust the right knowledge to take your creative value and add so much more to your value. But this will also prepare to master your soul and spirit in Pisces. And, you know, in the sense of an eighth house, come through the eighth house of trust and anchor more authority over your philosophy to teach what you teach. I hope you enjoyed the support. Definitely looking forward to your feedback. And until next time, peace.